大家好, I'm Nathan Rich, aka 火锅大王. Today I want to talk to you yet again about the YouTuber Sargon of Akkad. In the last video we talked about how he created his own reality and then imagined that facts were correct and just told all of his fans that that was the case. This time we're going to talk about another one of his videos called China Lied and People Died. So let's take a look at what Sargon of Akkad thinks China lied about. So he starts out by talking about the United Kingdom and the United States, and he's going to defend their job and say they're doing a great job. So let's hear.
The United States too, we're handling it really badly. That's just not true. We're not handling it really badly. Spain, Belgium, and Italy and France seem to be the most affected, with the United Kingdom at 4th place. And the United States way down in 8th place.
Wow, 8th from last and 4th from last. Out of like 200 countries. I don't know if you're into math or anything, but that's not doing pretty good. That's horrible. If you scored that on a test in school, that would just be a 0. That's way lower than an F. So I don't know what you mean by you're tired of this narrative that they're not doing a good job. This is the worst possible job other than 4 or 7 other countries. This is the most desperate attempt I've ever seen by somebody.
China's numbers are not real. They are going to be lies. They are going to be fabrications from the Chinese Communist Party in order to make themselves look less bad than they should do.
It's communist. They lie about everything. I mean, doesn't seem like they're lying because everything's going back to normal and everyone seems fine and it's all picking up again, but I'll take your word for it. They're lying. Everyone in China is dying. That makes you, instead of number 4 and number 8 or whatever you said, now you're number 5 and number 9. I mean, you're still doing pathetically bad. Like, what are you talking about? My country is suffering and you're going, oh, they're doing a great job. They took months to do anything about it and they still haven't done as much as China did months ago. Wuhan quarantined when there was 1,000 cases in all of China. There was 20,000 cases in New York State before New York City didn't even quarantine. They just had stay-at-home orders. Well, what are you talking about? This is not rocket science, dude. The West is massively failing this test. Horribly. Months of notice, tons of inactivity. You know why I haven't done a timeline for the United States reaction to the COVID-19 outbreak yet? Honestly, it is so bad that I'm trying desperately to add good things to it because I know that no one's going to believe how horrible it is when I show it to them. I'm trying to find some good things that United States has done to fight this virus, and I cannot find any good ones. It looks so pathetic next to China's reaction to this that I actually feel bad about my own country. I don't want it to be that bad. And people like you are perpetuating this idea that we're doing great, as you're literally in the bottom 5% of all countries. What is wrong with you, dude?
We are not handling this the worst, and that's a narrative that I'm very tired of hearing at this point.
Yeah, it's not the worst. It's 98% worst. 2% of the countries are doing worse than you. Good job.
China knew, the Chinese Communist Party knew for 6 days that there was a likely pandemic come out of Wuhan. They knew about the virus. They were informed. They had this information and they sat on it for 6 days. Like, that is, if this isn't deliberate, then it's negligence of the highest order, is it not?
I actually have to go back and watch your old videos and try to understand why I thought some of them were good, because this is pathetic. Did you even read the thing that you're looking at? I don't even know where to start with this. 6 days is nothing, dude. That is 0 compared to how much the United States and the United Kingdom has lagged and lagged month after month, doing nothing at all but telling people not to wear masks and having huge gatherings of people and telling everybody that the flu is more dangerous than the coronavirus. 6 days is nothing. But let's just assume that we really care about these 6 days, okay? Let's forget all that. 6 days, ooh, that's a big big deal. Did you read what you're telling the whole world about? It says that from the 14th of January to the 20th of January, those are the 6 days. Now, the 14th of January, we already knew that there was a possibility of human-to-human transmission that was reported. We already knew that there was a family that seemed to be showing human-to-human transmission, but it wasn't clear if that's what was happening because the mother could have infected them via preparing meat or other ways. So there was evidence, but it wasn't clear. And the thing that you're saying that they knew is, and I'm quoting here, clustered cases suggest that human-to-human transmission is possible. That's what this report says that they knew on the 14th. You know who else knew that on the 14th? Everyone in the world, dude. It was already released. This is public information. On the 14th, that's day 0 of these 6 days. So on the 20th, when they told people, yes, definitely there has been human-to-human transmission, that's because they had confirmed it. There was clear evidence that it had happened. And by the way, the 31st of December is when they said that they couldn't rule out human-to-human transmission. The Chinese government has never, that I'm aware of, ever said there is no human-to-human transmission of this virus or disease. They've always said there's not clear enough evidence. Here's a family that looks like it might be that, but that's not clear evidence. We're not sure yet. Okay, now we're sure.
The World Health Organization is absolutely no better in this regard. It, for some reason, decided to ignore Taiwan's warnings about this outbreak. They gave them warnings and the World Health Organization said, shut up, you counter-revolutionaries.
People like you who don't read what they're saying are so funny because what you've actually done is you've just inadvertently exposed the fact that China warned the world about this on the 31st of December. Now, I know you don't know what I'm talking about because you didn't bother reading what you said was true, but here's the actual truth of what happened according to what you're talking about. It's not my words. On December 31st, like I said, the Wuhan Health Commission said that they were treating patients in isolation. The letter that you're talking about was basically just a translation of that. This is what it says. Health authorities replied to the media that the cases were believed not to be SARS. However, the samples are still under examination and cases have been isolated for treatment. Are you waiting for more? That's it. That's what they're saying. So what is this whole like, oh, they warned them thing? This thing that happened recently of someone saying, if being treated in isolation isn't a warning, then what is? Where did that information come from that they're being treated in isolation? From the Chinese government, the Wuhan Health Commission on the 31st of December. The warning that nobody listened to was actually a warning from China that everyone listened to. Except for Donald Trump, apparently. You've just embarrassed yourself so horribly by bringing that up. Didn't listen to the warning from China. Exactly.
This is because of China. China did this. China sat on the knowledge. It came out of Chinese wet markets, as to the best of our knowledge. These disgusting, unsanitary wet markets. The Chinese state knew about it for 6 days and did nothing. They refused to quarantine Wuhan. There was a giant festival that went on in this time, and they were like, yeah, no, just let it go on. Doesn't matter if we've got a deadly pandemic on our hands. Just let it happen. We'll just let this go wherever it goes. Honestly. I
saw some semblance of your old self there where you almost tried to say like, oh, I mean, at least we think it started in wet markets. Old ghost of the past when you actually cared about objectivity and facts. Barely clinging on, trying to get you to, hey, remember when like you couldn't just ramble about anything? You actually had to say things that were factual for your own sense of pride or responsibility. But I guess that part of you is on its last breath. Because what you're acting like is the worst thing in the entire world is a gathering of people in Wuhan when there were 94 cases. Wow, you must really be pissed at the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people in the United States and the UK who have been congregating with no masks because the government told them not to wear any for months after way more cases than this were all over the place, and they knew it was transmissible, and they knew all this whole history with China. Wow, you must be pissed about that, but for some reason I don't see anything on your channel complaining that Trump's government or Boris's government is allowing everybody to do that. You're just complaining about when there was 94 cases and a gathering of people that shouldn't have happened that the local government was already punished for. And you don't even mention that a couple of days before that banquet, the even bigger scandal by 1,000-fold is that the United States turned down testing kits and said, oh, we have our own. And then nobody could get tested for a month while millions and millions and millions of people in our countries were going around congregating in huge groups, creating brand new clusters to get everybody infected and dead. Thanks, Donald Trump. I mean, you haven't focused on that much. Why is that, Sargon?
There's evidence that they knew that this was known about as far back as November last year, and yet they did nothing.
Another lie. There's zero evidence that I'm aware of that anybody in the government knew about this in November. As I've covered several times on my channel, unless you have some facts to back that up, you better stop spreading lies. All there is about November is one alleged case from papers that nobody can read, and that article doesn't claim that the government knew about it. In fact, it says that they didn't know about it. So again, you're lying.
And this lost time probably decided the difference between the local versus a global pandemic. That's it. That's all we need to say. The rest of the apologism is out of the window. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because you've asserted something without proof. It doesn't matter how bad the UK and the US are doing. Just blame China. And to think earlier, didn't you say something about not being an ideologue or... Classic.
If there aren't consequences for what China has done here, I'm going to be furious. There bloody well should be consequences.
Consequences for what? It just sounds like you're jealous. I mean, China is obviously the country that has dealt with this the best. Hands down. Especially compared to the countries that we're talking about. Maybe there's a small island country somewhere that, I don't know, they never got it. That's pretty good. China has done an amazing job of dealing with this outbreak. So that's not just my opinion. Compare it. Any timeline. Compare their timeline to the United States timeline, and it is embarrassing. It is very, very embarrassing.
Apart from the communists, everyone agrees that this is China's fault.
I'm not a communist, and I don't agree that it's China's fault. Why would it be China's fault? As soon as they knew something was happening, they told the entire world. It's not their fault that Trump ignored them. It's not their fault that Boris ignored them. Why would this be their fault? I don't understand. Show me some actual facts to back up what you're talking about, because you're just yap, we should hate them, yap, we should punish them. There should be consequences for what they did. Oh, what did they do? Well, they did that. No, they didn't. Oh, they did this. No, they didn't do that either. You're just pushing this weird neocon narrative, and you're ignoring all the actual facts. It's very strange.
So Trump did this sensible thing. We're going to stop giving the World Health Organization money.
Good. Stop paying the WHO. I don't care. If anything, now maybe they'll be a little more honest about the horrible job that the United States and the United Kingdom have done in dealing with this outbreak. I mean, totally detestable. Embarrassing. Blood on their hands bad. It's really, really bad, dude. And the WHO has been so in their pocket. It's ridiculous.
It's the single largest payer behind the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And Bill Gates is screeching about this too.
Yes, Bill Gates. Creator of some good operating systems, some bad ones, and probably the most charitable person that has ever walked the earth. I think he's literally saved more lives than most of the people that we think of as lifesavers put together. I'm sure we agree on that, right?
Fuck Bill Gates.
Wow. Who do we like again? I'm confused. We don't like people that save maybe millions of lives. We don't like those people because what again? Because they fund the World Health Organization, whose mission is to save lives. Have you ever seen that skit where there's like Nazis on the battlefield or something, and they're like talking about if they're the good guys or not?
Hans, I've just noticed something.
These communists are all cowards.
Have you looked at our caps recently? They've got skulls on them. Are we the baddies?
Do you ever get that feeling, Sargon, when you're demonizing people that literally their entire job is to save lives, and then you're calling to increase hate crimes for no clear reason? I mean, do you ever get the sense like maybe I'm on actually the wrong side of things?
The World Health Organization got people killed. They should have been raising the alarm. Day one, back in December, when Taiwan was like, no guys, you really want to listen to this. We've got something to tell you.
Yeah, they already knew that. China said that to the entire world. They don't need another email or a memo telling them what the website says. They know. That's what all of this stuff was based on. So what do you want them to do? Yeah, why are you sending us this? We already have the translation. We don't need another translation. Thanks. Then he goes on and on about the Chinese government, how everything in the world is their fault. And then he says,
what are we defending China for? It's an awful place.
Man, you are just such a kind person, Sargon. I don't understand why anybody wouldn't like you. I mean, I've got 2 videos here that I just chose at random, and there are no facts in them. None. You're just literally gliding over headlines, spreading a little bit of hate, giving no valid reasons to do so, slamming people who save millions of lives, and then saying that we should blame and punish people. But I guess you're very clear with your feelings. You hate China. And I'm sure that's based on a vast wealth of actual experience here. I mean, it's not like you would be so low as to talk this much crap about a place that you've never even been, right?
And the only reason it seems that it gets defended by people, honestly, in the media, is because of the ideological solidarity with communism.
Or the ideological solidarity with facts, which you have abandoned completely. Well, it's just another formerly popular YouTuber who's really got down the drains. I mean, maybe I'm being too hard on him. I know he doesn't want to talk about this, but on the other hand, he is talking about this. And he's mostly just talking rubbish. As usual, these people have no facts. They're just speaking from the heart about things that they just know magically without anything backing them up. Well, till next time, thanks everybody. 谢谢.